Yeah, yeah.
What did I do wrong?
You have a better. You're offensive. Police lives matter.
You are offensive.
You have the same sticker.
We're just trying to do school.
What?
You guys have the same sticker.
Trying to do school.
But this is our space.
We've got a Police Lives Matter sticker, and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school. Yeah,
So this guy on the right's the
leave.
biggest
No,
douchebag
I
I've ever
said-
seen, by the way.
You're making the
Your
space
sticker makes you
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Shorts are pretty
But you're
short.
white. Do you understand what a multicultural space? It means you're not being centered.
White's not a culture?
No, it's not a culture. It's white is not a culture. Say it again to the.
All right, I want to stop there first. What do you think about that?
White is a lot of cultures. Black is a lot of cultures. Like,
Yeah, so I guess they're saying that one really stuck out to me because that one really got me thinking. Like they really think that I guess white people are void of culture, like they just don't have it, or you know what I
it's
bet
an unpersoning technique.
Or I bet they probably would claim that white people they just steal culture from other people, so they don't actually have one.
Yeah,
that's what I would guess.
But it is just an unpersoning technique. They're literally just trying to make them seem less human. So it's easier to demonize them that way.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's.
The camera. You think whiteness is a culture?
This is insane.
So, anyways, this is the violence that ASU does, and this is the type of people that they protect. Okay, this white man thinks he can take up our space, and this is why we need a multicultural space, because they think they can get away with this shit.
I'm gonna sit here the whole time, and you can find somebody to kick me out.
That's cool. We will.
We're asking you to leave if you have any consideration for people of color and our marginalized.
So clearly don't. Yeah, the whole rest of the campus, the second floor, the first floor, the whole MU, every single part of the campus centers you. This is the only space that you're not centered, and you're still trying to center yourself, which is peak white cis male bullshit.
Oh, you're not.
You are racist. Your sticker is racist because police, that's a job. You can choose to be a police. I don't choose to be black. Okay? No, you can choose to be a cop. You can choose to kill people.
Did you hear the snap?
Listen, your sticker is racist because
closely.
Police, that's a job. You can choose to be a police. I don't choose to be black.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, they don't do the clapping because it's triggering.
Okay? No, you can choose to be a cop. You can choose to kill people with a badge, and you're protecting that shit, which means that you're racist.
I wasn't trying to defend you guys.
I know, but this offends us automatically because these people kill people like me and like us, right? So you're promoting our murderers. So please just don't do that.
Incredible.
Yeah, so I think about like, so when I have to hear these kind of like rhetorical political diatribes that they go on, that you hear people on these campuses, they'll go on this long stream of this like ideological kind of, gut, like knee-jerk speech that they go on, and all I can really do is laugh. And I ask, like, why do I laugh when I hear that? It's probably because like when I hear somebody say something like political or ideological, that's just so like, it's just not even in the same realm of thought that my mind exists in. Like sometimes it's just like I have nothing else to do but laugh. Like I don't even know where to start. Do you have the same kind of reaction when you hear stuff like that?
Well, the first thing I thought is she said, this is the kind of people that ASU lets in. I'm like, ASU, I've never heard of this. This has to be some like mid to low tier college. So I looked it up on US News, and they
Arizona State, maybe.
Arizona State, yeah. They rank 117 as far as universities go. So this is like, these kids got B's and C's in high school. This isn't the intellectual cream of the crop here. And just for reference, University of Texas ranks 38 on US News. So well below our education.
Here's what so before we really get into the video, I do want to like point out to the people watching that these two guys did choose to sit in the multicultural section with a Police Lives Matter sticker, and I believe the other guy has like
wait, that's a thing, the multicultural section.
Yeah, which is it's just code for the not white, because white people don't have culture, so that means you're not allowed to sit there.
They should make it like rainbow flag or something. Like that just looks like a normal study room to me.
That's the best they can do.
Yeah, make it all. Well, I can't say that word. Make it all LGBTQ-ish, and then I'll just keep these people out of there for good.
It'll make it more LGBTQ-ish.
LVGP barbecue-ish.
They need to just make the walls pure, like completely white, and everything in there white, the entire room, so that when white people go in, it's like they're invisible.
Or the password is you have to name all the stripes in the latest like gay flag.
No, the password is you have to say "I hate Donald Trump," and the white people just get can't.
Yeah,
But
no, you got to say either Blue Lives Matter or if you say anything but Black Lives Matter, you're not allowed in. That's it.
Here, let's keep watching. So this Asian guy comes to stick up for him.
So why should that bother you?
Because do you understand that Police Lives Matter was in response to Black Lives Matter?
I pay the same fucking tuition as you.
Yep.
Hold on, but
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so here's the first mistake they're making. You can't
Arguing
actually
in the first place?
reason. Yeah. If you're in this situation, if you're listening and you find yourself at the other end of this type of like kind of like politically ideologically fueled like woke ambush, like if you find yourself there and you think to yourself, all I got to do is drop this one like really good slam them in the face argument and that'll shut them up, that will never work.
Just own them with facts and logic.
Nothing you say at that point is going to diffuse the situation, especially if you're outnumbered like these guys I think are.
Yeah, these are losers who finally get to be the bullies they've always wanted to be, and they're here to bully you. There's nothing you can say to stop them.
You're being bullied, and when you're in that kind of political fervor, everything you say is going to be like correct. Like you've already accepted that you're the correct person. So like nothing they say, it's not like they're going to give a real slammer out there to make them say, you know what? Maybe these white guys have a point. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would bow, but that would be, kind of a masculine thing to do.
No, that's appropriating Asian culture.
Yeah. You're right. I'll do this instead. I'll do this instead. How?
Hey, how are you?
How
hey,
do
how
you do?
Are you?
Hey, how are you?
Fine, and you have everywhere. You have.
I'm working 60 hours a week while going to school because my parents don't just give me money.
But
It doesn't.
Okay, it doesn't matter. You have the second floor.
My skin
doesn't matter.
Who are you? I don't care about what color your skin is.
You can.
Okay, so the douche on the right has a "We did not vote for Biden" shirt.
I mean, they're
on there.
asking for it. Like,
Yes,
they
okay.
know what they're doing.
They're clearly going in there because they're like, I don't know if they made, like, I guess it's possible that they're like two political white dudes who didn't know that they were sitting in that section, but odds are they did that on purpose because they, either they wanted to rile up some feathers or it was kind of an act of rebellion in their minds. Maybe like, what are they doing there?
they went to rustle up some jimmies.
I mean, when I was in school, I was smart enough to know not to go into the Malcolm X like lounge.
We had that.
Yeah, in Jester there was a Malcolm X like African American Studies lounge or whatever. And obvious they're not allowed.
Student that we had little ankle bracelets that would alert the university anytime we left the engineering quad. That way they would know to corral us back in there. We can't get too close to like the liberal arts section, or else we might upset someone.
No, they have a door for white people, but you have to get on. It's a low one. It's kind of like a doggy door, so you have to get on all fours and crawl through that door if you want to get in.
Oh, God.
Out of here if you're going to be yelling at people because
This
they're
is
You're
This is our space.
we make this fucking space. We have to work for 5 years
Yes,
to
we
make this
did.
space.
We worked for 5 years for ASU to build a multicultural
Yeah,
space.
this was
Coming up with, like white supremacist like narratives
We're
about
not
like police lives matter is saying police
Yeah,
lives
it
matter
is. Yes, it is. Yeah,
Oh.
it's affiliated with white nationalists.
It is.
I just realized they're eating
A lot of-
Chick-fil-A.
And
It
you
is.
guys went
Right.
out of your way to inconvenience.
Yes.
Because this
No.
Yeah, because this is our space. We fought for this shit for 5 years since 2016.
Oh, they're so brave.
So
Oh my goodness, so brave. They fought for 5. They fought, by the way. It's not they sent emails and signed petitions and anything. No, they fought.
They badgered some poor admin until she's like, "Fine, fuck it, have this room." I don't get paid enough to care.
They act like they're storming the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah,
and really all they're doing is a bunch of dumbass college kids.
If Normandy was like a low tier college university.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true. Like you don't usually hear stories like this on public universities. Usually these are the types of stories you see on the Ivy League schools and that kind of thing. But this is just like a run of the mill public school. It's there to the universities are just so fucked up.
You have no idea about the labor that was created to create this space.
The labor. Because as we all know, labor is the only thing that creates.
You don't know how many emails we sent to get this space.
No, we can't. You're violent, dude.
You're violent.
We're saying you're
fuck America.
They're violent. These two guys have obviously never been in a fight in their entire lives.
No, that guy looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
This dude and the white dude. He looks like the kind of guy who would line up and, camp outside for hours to go see Crowder or something.
Oh, God. They would say Trump. And it's like, well, yeah, they come in all shapes and sizes. But yeah, like he would definitely be like out the Crowder or Ben Shapiro lecture on university.
If you wear any political shirt, I mean, I have a Libertarian Institute shirt, and I don't even like wearing that one because I feel like a douchebag. Like, I feel like if you wear any political shirt, you automatically have earned the rank of douchebag.
It's true. I do have one semi-political one. It's a yellow shirt with a killdozer on it that says "tread on them." But I feel like that's niche enough that most people don't understand what the hell is on my shirt.
That's true. That's a good covert one.
Yeah, my kids love it because it's got a bulldozer on it, and they just like point at bulldozer.
Yeah, that's like wearing lingerie under your regular clothes because it makes you feel confident.
Yeah. I'm being subversive, even though nobody knows it.
Bro, America was created on genocide and slavery. Look at his face. Obviously, never.
That is the point. That is.
I mean, can't argue that one.
Yeah, and the point is that studying. This is not a space just for studying. This is a space for multiculturalism.
Kill black people. We need to defund.
What is that?
They're just like. Dude, do you hear that? Like they're both like talking at the same time. Dude, this is one of my favorite parts. Like they it's
all gibberish. They're just speaking gibberish. This is a place for multiculturalism. Like, what is that? Like, what do you do? What is culturing? What's the verb there?
It's like they're both like the Terminator, and you know how like the Terminator has like the list of responses or whatever on the screen. This girl on the right just clicked like. Auto select. Listen.
That is old.
Yeah, and the point is that studying. This is not a space just for studying.
They're both just talking over each other.
This is a space for multiculturalism.
Kill black people. We need to defund and defast. You're gonna kick us out. So no. Now
they need to ask. Okay, so what they should have said is this: so you're walking in the desert and you look down and you see a tortoise and you flip him on his back. And he's kicking and struggling to get up, and you don't help him. Why not? Anybody, please?
I know this, but I forgot the punchline.
It's from Blade Runner.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm calling them robots. Maybe
it's the Turing test.
Yeah.
Even easier. Just put a little capture there and see if they can find all the stoplights.
Well, it's not a Turing test. It's that's what they would tell the replicants because apparently like the replicants
that's a Turing test.
No, I thought the Turing test was like if you give it a question and like if the response is if it's if it's exactly what you'd expect a human would say, like if there's no indication that it's a robot based on the response, then it passes the Turing test.
Are you sure you're not a robot? You just described the Turing test.
No, but the Turing test. Well, but the Turing test is if they pass. If I guess you're kind of right. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if they called it that.
I'm calling.
So you're not getting.
Calling the Blade Runners on you now.
You're not getting
Harrison
homework
Ford's
done.
on his way.
They're Blade Runners. Is that what we're gonna call them?
I'm calling Harrison Ford. He's on his way to get you.
You guys are gonna be.
We're not getting homework done. You're making people feel uncomfortable. So can you go? It's just that simple. People are feeling uncomfortable by your sticker. Just like if I had
Okay, we're
I
racist.
hate white people thing on. That's the same thing as this police lives matter. So you're making people
They
uncomfortable.
just go, man. Like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. That we can.
You can
The
go.
middle finger.
I was just studying. I pay the same fucking tuition.
And
This
I
is this
asked
white
you
man
for
telling black people fuck
You
you,
don't buy this building.
cussing out
I
black people.
work.
You just proved
I'm
yourself.
Dude, now they're the victims. Isn't that this? Isn't this what Milo called quantum superstate feminism,
Oh,
where
maybe.
they're both the aggressor and victim at the same time?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you flip me off, I win.
Yeah, if the white people fight back at all, you just say, "I'm being oppressed. I'm being oppressed."
Yeah.
employees.
I don't care where you work for. You can't kick us out of here.
I just told you to shut the fuck up because you're making
Oh, the
me feel
claps.
unsafe in this space.
Stop.
There's no such white people. There's no such thing as reverse racism. So have fun thinking that we are the racist.
Just right there. It's just
That's
racism.
He's not white. He doesn't have to. Just
Don't
the
try
white-
to logic.
David,
Don't
David,
No, we're not
don't try
saying
to
white
make it
people have to
logical.
leave.
We never said white people need to
No,
go
hey,
anywhere.
hey,
We said
Hey, let's go to the dean's office.
Yeah, this is.
Go to
Go ahead.
the
Go to the dean's office.
Go to the
Go
dean's
ahead.
office
You
right
can
now.
learn.
Dude, so they're gonna go tattle on them. Dude, both of these both just bomb completely. Like,
I mean,
what
yeah,
would you
don't-
have done?
I would
What-
just well, I wouldn't have
Just
done
sit
this.
there? Well,
like,
no, I wouldn't have been there in the first place.
Like having stickers on your laptop and wearing political shirts. It's like
That's
having a
true.
bump. You're like one of those people who has all those bumper stickers on their
That's
car.
true.
Like everyone knows you're crazy.
Yeah,
So
That's true.
I mean, if I was just sitting there studying and they came at me, I'd probably I don't know, just keep studying.
Yeah.
Just let
What
them
would I
spasm
do?
out until they like got tired. Because I'm sure at some point this woman needs a snack break. She sounds like she's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
What would
Yeah,
you guess her weight is?
Dude, I don't know. I think I saw their picture. I think they look like, they're just heavy enough that I'm not interested, but I don't think they're fat or anything. What was I going? Oh, so like if I was sitting there and this was happening to me and I was in there and they started harassing me, like I probably wouldn't say I wouldn't do what these guys are doing and try to argue back at them, because I would know that you're just going to be digging your grave even deeper. It doesn't matter what you say.
Or
You're just
sitting
gonna
there
dig your
like,
grave
like
even
an
deeper.
idiot with your phone out, like, "Oh, I'm recording you too."
Yeah.
Like,
I
anyone gives
also
a shit
wouldn't
about your video.
I also wouldn't have a douchebag haircut like that. But there would be that part of my brain that like doesn't want to do what they're telling me to do, because like I can't, like they're like, because I dislike them and because they really want me to like submit to their will. There's going to be that part of me that's like, I don't want to do it.
Well, if you're really going to make a protest by just going into this space that obviously is hostile to you, don't wear any of the bullshit. Just sit down and study. If they flip out, ignore them as
Just
much
ignore
as you
them,
can.
I guess. Yeah.
Because like they're either going to do something physical, which at that point you've won, or they're going to give up and go away.
I guess. Or it could be one of those things where they just, because you're not submitting, it just a mob forms and it just grows and grows and grows. So assuming that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, at this point, your best strategy is to be a martyr. So you sit there,
just sit there and just pretend they're not there.
Yeah, until they do something, that would be considered outside the social norm, like hitting you, smacking all your shit on the floor, forcing you out with actual physical force. Like doing this like stupid back and forth. This is exactly what they want. This is their tactic. You're going to lose every time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, your main mission is make them look like the lunatics, like make them look like the unreasonable ones. So you basically have to act like a person who's just minding his own business, and you don't take a side. Don't take a side one way or another.
Because like there's nothing to indicate this room is special other than these people screaming that it is.
Or maybe what you can do is you just become like. You just become so over the top, like woke, like just like basically join their side, but then go like a step further and say like, no, I agree. Like, no, I agree. In fact, I agree with you so much that I'm going to put myself in chains right now to this table. This will be my slave quarters over here. That's how against white people I am. Like, just be so over the top, like on their side.
But then you're bringing props out of your backpack and shit. Like, no, I think, the only way to quote unquote win is to just sit there and take the verbal lashings until they tuck her out or they do something violent.
Okay, so I guess where I got that idea, that partially came from Scott Adams. He actually, but I guess it's a little bit different because the scenario he was talking about was, like the scenario he was talking about was what would happen if a mob approached you, like in New York. You know how people remember when there were all those videos going out for a while during like the 2020 riots where restaurant people would be sitting at their tables and there'd just be these like roving Black Lives Matter mobs going through the street, and they would harass people at these tables, and sometimes people get attacked. Like, you know, what would you, so he was saying like, okay, what would you do if you're in that situation and your only goal is I need to get out of this situation without like getting the shit kicked out of me? Basically what he said was, what you like, you know, so if they're going to your table saying like, okay, everybody, you need to start chanting Black Lives Matter and hold your fist up, basically you do everything they say, but you even go one step like past them. Like if they come up to you and say like, do Black Lives Matter? You say, yes, absolutely they do. In fact, they matter more than white lives. Like basically, because at that point they'll think, okay, this guy submitted, and they'll go on to the next table. And that's when you kind of like shrink into the back and like slip out and escape. But I guess this is not the same situation because you're not in
these people
danger.
there are intentional. They're probably trying to get some public notoriety. Maybe this is for their podcast or YouTube channel or whatever. Like, you know, they're making a stunt. So, you know, they're not going to take any of the advice we've given because they think they can facts and logic their way out of this.
Yeah. Or it could be they wanted to sit there because it was kind of a protest, but maybe they didn't expect this to happen. I don't know. The guy on the right was clearly happy that it did. The guy on the left seemed kind of like genuinely dumbfounded. To me, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could be acting. Both of them could be acting. I mean, if you have a Police Lives Matter sticker, I mean, you're already probably like kind of soft when it comes to like, you know, you probably, I don't know if you're the type of guy who would want to like get in a like a kind of an argument like this in public in front of everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty stupid all around. But,
I don't know. Oh, sure. Of course it is.
I would hate to be on a college campus right now. It sounds awful.
Oh, here they are. Oh, dude, check this out. So you made some predictions about the people who made the video. So let's go ahead and check your score here. So
okay, not that.
But probably shouldn't be doing a midriff, but you know, not too bad. And then this other girl's okay.
She's not 300 yet. I'm guessing she's 19. Probably for the first time is able to feed herself, has eaten nothing but fast food for the past 1 or 2 years of her college experience. She'll get there.
You're saying we should check back on her in a while.
Yeah, she'll be grotesque soon enough.
And so both of them did end up leaving. By the way, we didn't finish the video because we kind of got it. You basically saw what it is. They yell and scream, and they yell like ideological like rhetoric at each other until they both like kind of shy away and leave.
Pussies.
There'd be something about me that would just make me unable to like give in to what they want, even though I wouldn't have a plan on what I should do later.
Just sit down and start studying again.
But assuming like, see, we were in engineering, so when we studied, like our time was actually super valuable, and it's like, okay, I have to. So now my choice is I pass this exam or I stand up to this like race mob.
Like. I'm sure they had time to waste if they were doing this.
But assuming they didn't actually need their study time, I probably would. Yeah. So I guess that's the Gulag take, is you should just pretend they're not there until it either fizzles out and they just kind of, I guess, I don't know.
No, don't
go tell on you or something.
The dynamic of the progressive versus the con, the lib versus the con, is they're the lion and you are the buffalo. As a buffalo, I'm stealing this from Curtis Yarvin. As the buffalo, you are not obligated to fight the lion. Your objective is not to get eaten by the lion. Don't make yourself a target of the progressive mob, and they won't go looking to kill you.
Yeah, the progressives, like, they won the culture war, and they've been going around shooting survivors ever since. And if your viral video of you standing up to these types of people gets like, if it gets viral and goes everywhere, I mean, your life is over in the sense that you're going to probably need to move town. They're going to dox you. You're going to lose the fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's fucking kids who are getting banned from their schools because they refuse to get vaccinated for their remote class. It's like,
yeah,
you don't have any allies on this campus. Just don't.
Yeah, the university will. Yeah, the university will not side with you. They will kick you out of school. You know, you might lose your job. Yeah, so so it's a losing battle. So, yeah, that's what it is. I have not. I guess
we've beaten this one to death.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess that's it. I mean, but I really love these videos because they're so entertaining.
Libs of TikTok is pretty good.
It's entertaining. It's every now and then I kind of walk away from there with like a thought in my head, like, like I hadn't actually heard someone say that. Like, you know, like white people just don't have a culture, like they're devoid of culture.
I've heard that one.
I mean, American history, I don't think anybody would argue American history, like, you know, especially in the early founding, it was a Puritan white European country.
Well,
they had the courts, they wrote the laws, they, you know,
what's your ethnic background, white man?
Well, I'm actually Native American.
One thousand.
Actually, it's like 1/16 or so. Like my it's one of those like your grandfather was, you know, part Cherokee or something, but it's been blended in there with so many different like white European countries that
so you don't have any like dominant family European ancestry.
I'm a European mutt. You know, my dad's side, you know, I got German, I've got English, I've got Scottish, I've got, you know, just I don't care that much to really look into it.
I'm like really super Greek, so it's like when I think of white culture, I just like go to Greek culture, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's plenty of culture in my family that's, you know, it's white predominant, but it's Greek culture. Like I don't think of it. I don't like, to me, it's not white culture. It's Greek culture, and then there's German culture, then there's Czech culture. Like there's all like there's like name your European country. There's a culture there. So when you say white culture, it's a meaningless term because white isn't an ethnicity. Like it's just like you
have to be more specific.
Smash of different people with the same skin color.
Yeah, you got to be really specific. If you talk about like if you say white American culture, like that, I know what you're talking about. Like you're basically talking Puritan.
Not even ethnicity. Like there's definitely a Texas culture. Like I relate to Texas culture before I relate to any kind of white culture.
Well, you have like overarching cultures, and then you have like subcultures within where they kind of share and borrow. You know, like I'm sure the Greek Americans and the German Americans, probably the Venn diagram overlaps quite a bit. I'm sure they both like have that kind of like they both have the kind of the Puritan work ethic. Like work is good, and they got the nuclear family. I'm sure. They've got
I don't know, Greeks are pretty big in the like community family. Like if my family wasn't dislocated to Texas from the rest of the family, we would probably grow up in the Greek Orthodox community. And then it's not about the mother, father, and the kids. It's about like everyone in your community. And traditionally you're supposed to only marry someone in the community. Like you stay Greek. You know, broke tradition, moved to Texas.
You're sounding a little bit like you're sounding a little bit more like a commie to me. My commie radar is going off.
Growing up, like I never really like understood the term nuclear family. I thought like I was just like, oh yeah, family's a great thing to have. Why
I thought it was a family with nuclear weapons.
But like it's only recently I realized that like nuclear family, they really mean just mom, dad, kids, independent cell family unit. Like,
yeah,
but
like
in reality,
it's
very apparent the optimal is like having a community of families that all support each other. Yeah. That's what makes the Jewish community so strong, the Mormon community so strong. They all stick up for each other and uplift each other, and that's how they become like very strong cultures within this big melting pot.
Yeah, American white culture, they get an F for that contribution. The nuclear families. And you know, I'm in the middle of that. Like, you know, so the nuclear family basically, yeah, it's the idea that mom and dad are the dictators, and grandma and grandpa, like, they kind of visit, but they're not like a major, like, they're not like in the picture. They don't have like equal, child rearing kind of
That's
responsibility as mom and dad do.
Obviously preferable to no family. But
Right.
the more the merrier. Like if you're going to form a commune.
Here's the problem. Raising kids is really hard. And having just two people do it by themselves without help from anybody is just, it's bad for everybody. Like, they are miserable. The kids are miserable. Like, everybody's miserable. And then grandma and grandpa don't want to help because they're like, fuck that. You're out of, I'm done doing that. Goodbye. I'm going to go travel the world now. And,
I did my 18 years.
You guys can come over for Christmas, but once it starts crying, I'm handing him over to mom. And so, so then they get bitter, and then they start hating their parent, and then they're going to want to do it the same thing to their kids even more because we didn't get any help. So, I guess fortunately we're doing what we can to reverse that trend because we're living with Nana and Pap right now.
All right, let's get this back on track because now we're just bitching about like family structures.
Well, we're talking American white families, the American white culture. What are the tenets? Did you one of the best things Thaddeus Russell talked about was how he deduced that Obama was white for his like class and got in big trouble for that.
Really?
Yeah. So okay, and I love talking about this. So basically, what he did was he talked about how there are like specific cultural kind of like identifiers that you can apply to different cultures, right? Like, cultural norms you can trace back in time, and the further back you go in time, the closer you're going to get to like the racial kind of, because we're a really integrated cultural kind of mix right now, but obviously everyone knows that was not always the case, and like races were actually pretty like close societies for a lot of human history. So you can find the values and attribute them. So there, so he put together like this list of like, these are tenets of white culture, like these are white cultural norms that are traced back to white American Puritanism. Work is godly and good. Pleasure, and especially sexual pleasure, is a bad thing. Nuclear family, dancing is bad. You should sacrifice is a good thing. Egalitarianism is a big one. So basically he goes through all of these things, and also, modesty. That's also another thing. Like, white people, you're not supposed to flaunt your wealth. You're supposed to be very like reserved, and and so he said, and everybody in the class generally agreed. I was like, yeah, that's, the very trademark of white, kind of cultural icon, like cultural norms. And then he said, okay, now let's look at some different families here. And like, let's kind of go down the list that we put together. Okay, Obama. Let's look at, Obama's, situation. Nuclear family, check. Don't, be kind of modest, check. Work is good. Work is kind of like sacred and godly, check. He was the president, so we're talking like, being prompt, working really hard, sacrifice, check. And he even, Obama even did these kind of talks, like, how black people need to work more, and they need to stop doing drugs. That's a white culture thing, like drugs and, all pleasure, mind altering intoxicants, bad. And so basically at the end, he was like, okay, well, therefore, based on this criteria, Obama is white. And apparently like a girl like cried about it and went and told him, and he actually got called into the office or whatever to have to talk to the administration about it. Like, yeah, he ended up keeping his job just because they have these rules about how the professors can teach whatever they want. You can't say anything. So they ended up letting him slide, until he started talking about how slavery wasn't is that bad. Then he got fired.
Have you seen the aspects and assumptions of white culture that was put out by
I did.
Some authority on this subject?
Yeah, I did. And actually it's not that I mean, honestly, the problem is they're implying that all of these things are bad. But when their attitude should really be more like, okay, what on this list is, what are the pros and cons to all these things? Like, let's go through it. That'd be fun.
We don't have to go through the whole thing, but like the idea, like here, Protestant work ethic. hard work is the key to success. How is that, white like that? That's not a white only thing. Have you met an Indian before or an Asian?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not white. I mean, it's definitely not only a white thing, but I mean, let's just say, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, hello, what about the like the Taoists? Over in like Tibet or whatever, their whole philosophy is the religion of not doing, or not no effort, like don't force anything. It's like that's definitely not the same as ours.
Rugged individualism, like how is this considered a negative?
Individualism? Well, listen, like I said, they're assuming just because they're attributed to white people, it has to be bad. Like, I agree with them on a lot of this. Like, individualism is definitely an American, European white philosophy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be dismantled. Like, why would you?
No, I mean, I like individualism.
Unless this is counter to your goals in some way, like you're a fucking commie.
Aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. Huh. Well, you can look at the graphic by itself without giving any context. And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like it has to be a bad thing, right? I mean, they call it whiteness, which is kind of, that's obviously kind of, they probably should pick a different word than that, but I will agree. They should call that white American culture, though.
When I read this, what am I supposed to reflect on? Do I need to be less of these things? Like, of anything, like half of these, like, oh, I need to work on it. I need to do a little better.
Well, okay. So the nuclear family, father, mother, 2, 3 children, is the ideal social unit. We just both discussed that that's not a good one. Like that, the nuclear family, all in all, like the extended family is a better model, right?
Like definitely some form of family is preferable. Like, it doesn't have to be the nuclear, but absence of family, like being raised by the state, is obviously terrible.
Well, obviously, dude. Yeah, I'm with you. But, I think the extended, let's just give the Mexicans credit, dude. The extended family model is the best one.
No, like I said, not even Mexicans, the Jews, the Mormons.
Where abuela, yeah. Or what's grandmother? Isn't that abuela? Abuela's taking care of the kids. Yeah, you're right. Mormonism. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so husband is the breadwinner and head of the household. Damn right. I'm okay with that one. Wife is the homemaker. I'm okay with that one. Children should have their own rooms, be independent. I'm okay with that one.
No,
I don't see why
that one room like sardines. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure that's just more of a function of having more money, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody would give their kids separate rooms if they had enough money to do it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Protestant work ethic. Yeah, hard work is key to success. Work before play. If you don't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. I will say that sometimes America has just kind of driven itself insane because we don't stop working all the fucking time. Like,
I mean,
there's some wisdom in that.
Have you seen Japan?
I mean, no, I haven't seen them. But, well, there is something to be said about how, like, we, Americans are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, look at the depression, like the antidepressant industry. I think a lot of that's just because we're so obsessed with like work. I don't know. I'm not this isn't as eloquent as I want it to be, but let's see what else we got. Christianity is the norm. Yeah, they're right about that. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. Yeah, that's probably true. No tolerance for deviation from single God concept. Well, that's bullshit because we're extremely tolerant of it. We have a damn like amendment dedicated to that idea. So I mean, what, dude? American white culture created and I guess Europeans to that extent, created this like progressive egalitarian model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will agree that white Americans tend to think that anything that's not Judeo-Christian is weird, but dude, yeah, freedom to practice whatever religion is like something that's etched in the First Amendment, as long as it's. But again, like I mentioned earlier, like you have these overarching
as long as
cultures.
the religion has existed for more than a couple hundred years. Okay, any of the stuff made in this century, no, that's not real.
Yeah, that's true. Your religion had
unless you badger the IRS enough.
You better test that religion in Europe first and then bring it over here, because if we find you making one here, we'll burn your compound down and kill your children.
Unless you're a Scientologist.
Yeah, they got in bed with the IRS, so that's how they beat that one.
They didn't get in bed; they like threatened them.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they just threatened to lawsuit them into the poorhouse.
Man, can you think of anyone else who's taken on the IRS and won? Go Scientology.
No, I can't. That is pretty except Trump, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways, we beat this one to death. Do you have any other?
Nah, man. I like talking about this stuff. I mean, I don't have any other topics along the culture line. Although maybe we should start talking about it more, right?
No, I don't mind. Like,
yeah, I kind of
definitely a very, very topical.
Well, the last thing I'll say is, I've kind of thought a lot about like multiculturalism, and like, would true multiculturalism actually work if you have any sort of system of law and courts? Can there ever be true multiculturalism? And I think the answer is no. Well, okay, so basically the cultural norms and values that we take for granted, like murder is wrong, rape is wrong, stealing is wrong. Like we tend to think that these are values that cross all cultures and all religions, and it's totally not. So let's say you live next door to somebody who thinks that like raping young women is actually totally culturally acceptable, and you live next door to them, and okay, well,
no, they need to conform or go to jail.
Now there's a court system with law, so basically one of those cultures is going to win once it's a law. Only one of them is going to get their way. So does true multiculturalism work in that sense? No.
So you're
basically
saying if you dropped a bunch of Afghanis into the United States, you might have some issues.
Well, no. Basically, if you drop a bunch of like communist voters into the country, then you'd have a problem. But
no, they just go get their PhD and continue on
get in the university. So you can only have multiculturalism in the sense that you can have like lots of subcultures, but they still have to, in order for them to like live harmoniously, they still have to basically, okay, we got to agree that murder is wrong, right? Stealing is wrong, right? Rape is wrong, right?
You can't have the U.S. court system exist in parallel to like a Sharia court system.
Yeah, they're incompatible with each other.
Right.
So, I mean, if we lived in Ancapistan, I guess I would just shoot my neighbor.
If you're going to live in America, you have to, like, we're going to tolerate your religion of Islam, but Sharia it will always be, or I guess the U.S. court system will always have supremacy over whatever your religious court system is. Like,
right.
You can't get around it on religious basis. So yeah.
So
I guess to your point, yeah, they can't coexist.
And our court system of law is probably more, you probably have to give more credit to Judeo-Christian ethics than any other religion, right? Because that's the history of the United States, Puritan, white, Christians. So that's why you can't have more than one wife in the United States. That's why like gay marriage only just recently kind of became a feasible thing.
Hold on, we were protecting ourselves with the only one wife thing, okay? You don't want to have more than one.
Well, no, but like you get my point, right?
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
That a lot of the things we chose in there, like the fact that you can't buy liquor on Sunday or whatever in some parts of the country.
The poly Mormons had a rough going because they wouldn't let them have more than one wife.
Dude, so the Mormons, like, you can't have coffee. Like, coffee's a no-no, but energy drinks are totally cool. And
yeah, they've got all the loopholes. It's like any other religion.
It's funny if you ask the actual Mormons about that, even they're like, I don't know.
You've got your Orthodox Jews who won't eat pork, and then you've got the ones like, I like bacon.
Are there any Orthodox Mormons though? Like, they all seem pretty.
Yeah, they're probably in compounds in Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Mitt Romney's family. Yeah. Right now, they're the ones with the AK-47s and the dogs, and 50 wives are in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then also drugs are no good. But prescription, if they've been blessed by a doctor, then you can totally go for it, man. No problem. So theoretically, marijuana is okay with the Mormons now as long as it's legal. I mean, yeah, that's a good segue. You want to watch? You want to hear the worst sound in the world?
You want to watch some comedy?
Yeah, Where did I sent this to you? Okay, dead air, because I gotta find it now. I thought I had it punched up and I don't. Let's see, I sent it to you. Oh, here it is. You want to hear the most annoying sound ever? Okay.
I can't wait till my kids are old enough to watch Dumb and Dumber.
Why isn't it?
Dude, you muted it.
No, but I'm trying to full screen it. But once again, we have another StreamYard bug or something. Anyway, this is the hilarious Stephen Colbert. Ugh.
Who is this for?
I don't know. Did they get money from the government?
Yes.
Oh, I got it bigger.
Your answer to that is yes.
Oh my god. Dude, do you think Colbert is like thinking in his head at this moment, like, this goes on for another minute? Like,
dude, he's having the time of his life. He gets paid.
You think so? You think he's a true believer?
Well, one, this is his politics, so he agrees with the message. He's getting paid to do it. Like, and it's just job security.
Ugh. They look like condoms.
They do.
It's like the bodysuit condom and Naked Gun.
So how many unvaccinated people were convinced by this?
Who was it that said this? So I think maybe it was Carlin. I can't remember who said it, but someone said that when comedians go from laughs to applause, like that's a problem. Like, baby, that's not like you're no longer a comedian when you're trying to go for applause instead of laughs, and that's kind of what these late night shows are.
Yeah, no, they're all just propaganda outlets now.
Yeah, so this is just one. This is like just like a major like manifestation of that idea. Like, because they're not going for laughs. Because does anybody really think this is funny?
I mean, the answer to your question is yes, but not us.
Vaccine.
Sweet meteor of death, Nick.
Please take us.
Please just end this whole thing.
Did you see New York is going to fire like 25% of their nursing staff for being unvaccinated?
I heard that.
Fucking wild.
Yeah. Well, I think
that'll help.
Yeah, the real story behind that to me was like, wow, there's actually enough unvaccinated nurses that they actually need to do this.
Well, a lot of them are like, I've already had the virus. Why do I need the vaccine? Like, why isn't natural immunity an exemption? And they're like, off with your head. Fired. Go straight to jail.
Well, it could be. There's also a bunch of nurses walking around, keeping their head down, thinking to themselves, this is bullshit. I don't know. I mean, because if there weren't people like that, why would they even need to address this problem? I guess on the other hand, there obviously aren't that many of them because they feel comfortable firing a lot of them, right? I guess if there was enough of them thinking that, they wouldn't be doing this, because then they'd say, uh-oh, we're out of nurses.
True, they might see it as an easy win because they're like, oh, we can fire all these people and we still won't be the hospital still won't be overrun. We'll get our headline and then everyone forgets about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we could get rid of Chad, who doesn't have his vaccine and he won't shut up about it.
It's just going to force more people to leave the state.
Yeah, it's just they're committing suicide. New York is just committing a slow suicide.
New York, California.
Yeah. Well, California, I feel like has already been dead, and it's got like flies, flying around it at this point. Like it's just a carcass.
So have we talked about how Biden plans to enforce his vaccine mandate?
We talked about it before the show.
Right. So he is going to use OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is under the control of the executive branch, to place workplace violations for if you have unvaccinated employees. And that's why when they said this is going to apply to all large companies above like 100 people, it's anyone who is regulated by OSHA has to comply. He said they're just going to like cram it through OSHA, say, okay, if you don't have the vaccines, we're going to charge you $70,000 to $700,000 in fines. So pretty much you either comply or your company goes bankrupt. And
how much?
It's anywhere from 70,000 to 700,000. I don't think it's been hammered out, but it sounds like they've got all the leeway in the world to destroy you if you don't comply.
Isn't every company under OSHA?
I think there's limits. Like if you got less than 100 people, you probably. I remember hearing if you have less than 100 people, you're not part of the regulation. But that pretty much like you're covering 99% of businesses at this point.
Yeah. Fuck. Dude, are they going to get me? I really hope they don't.
Oh, well, this is going to get caught up in the courts because you've already got like Abbott saying he's not going to comply. All the red states are going to say, fuck this now.
But how are they going to do that if it's a federal thing that they're hiring federal employees to enforce?
Well, all you need is like a federal judge in Texas to put a stay on it and then fight it to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but I think what the administration is hoping that enough companies want to be good noodles and just do it anyway.
Well, like if you work at Amazon or any of these major multi-state corporations, they're just going to comply because they're working in tandem with the government. And there's like, we can afford to fire the people who don't comply. But yeah, if you're talking about any small business in America, they're going to like look to their local state government and say, please fucking help.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I would not quit over this. I would not be happy about it for sure.
I would, what do you need to fake it? Like just get a vaccine card, fill it out.
Well, would they make an exemption for remote employees?
No, because they're like kicking kids out of university who are taking remote classes and not getting vaccinated.
Yeah, that's true. They're definitely going scorched.
This is much more about compliance than it is about actually protecting people.
Yeah.
The fact that they ignore natural immunity, like if you've had the vaccine before, like if you can show you have antibodies to the coronavirus, you should be exempt. Like that's not even part of this.
No, these are the political balls that Trump should have had, where they're basically like, we don't care how many people have a problem with this. We're going to do it. And I don't care if it's illegal. We're going to do it anyway.
No, they're straight up like everything they do now is like, this is probably unconstitutional, but we're going to do it and
just do it anyway. Yeah, we're just going to do it anyway.
And they're just banking on the court system being so slow that they can get 6 months or a year into the policy and do all the damage they need to do. By the time that any judge finally kills it, it's like, oh, well, we got away.
Yeah. Or it just becomes an established norm. So by the time it does get to a Supreme Court judge, everybody's just kind of like giving up on it.
Look at the eviction moratorium. By the time they struck that down, it was like, a year and a half later, like the damage is already done.
Yeah.
You've already fucked over every landlord in America.
Right. Plus, the Supreme Court exactly can't be relied upon at this stage based on what we've seen them do. Do you remember when Amy Coney Barrett was being, in the mix and, they were, Trump was getting all these justices and they were just, they were fainting because they were like, this is the end of abortion and women's rights. And we're all going to be like handmaiden or whatever, or Handmaid's
Tale. Yeah.
It's just so funny how quickly people forgot about it because they just totally didn't do any of the stuff that they predicted them to do.
Right.
They didn't help Trump. In fact, they fucked him over basically. Like they didn't help Trump. They don't ever come to like firm rulings on anything.
Yeah. In the next couple of months, we're going to see them rule on these abortion cases that the Texas one, they've already said that we're going to release a formal ruling on this later, but we're not putting a stay on it right now. And then the Mississippi case is the one that's a direct challenge to Roe v. Wade. We're going to get a ruling on that by the end of the year.
Right.
And I have no faith that they're going to revise Roe v. Wade at all in any meaningful way. Like, I don't think anything's going to change. And then all that worry about having the 3 extra conservative justices would be for nothing, because they're too afraid to rock the boat.
Dude, this was, I'm really glad there are people out there that are keeping the receipts on all of this stuff. Like, I like the trend that's going on right now, where they're digging up old tweets from people who were saying, like, don't ever take the Trump's vaccine. Like, I would never take this thing. And if you take, if Trump tells me to take a vaccine, there's no way I'm taking it. And then you find something that they said recently that's just completely the opposite. Now they're so hardcore on team vaccine that,
do we have a compilation of those handy? Those are great.
I'm sure you could find one very easily. You go on Twitter every day and you can find some of those.
Yeah, but they do it in such a nice way where, like, they've got the original tweet and then the revised tweet. Like the one up here saying, "I'll never take Trump's vaccine," and the one here saying, "Don't get your vaccine, you're gonna kill people." And it's got like their face in in the background.
Yeah.
Like, look at this fucking hypocrite.
Look at this douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad that stuff doesn't move the dial. I mean, because, like, remember we mentioned earlier that left-wing, like, progressives, like, how they won the culture war, and that's one of the perks. Like, if you win the culture war,
there's no need to be consistent.
You don't have to be consistent. You can be a hypocrite all you want, and it's not going to hurt you at all, because everyone's covering for you. Like, all the media organizations are covering for you, and you don't have to argue with anybody to win. You're still going to get your way. Yeah, your people are still going to win in the end. Your stupid, universal whatever is still going to win. Just give it enough time, it's going to show up. But anyway, so
in 10 years, the Republicans will be arguing that 5 boosters was enough.
yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, and when the next virus comes out, the conservatives will be like, "Look, the vaccine for COVID is okay, but the vaccine for this new chicken flu, like, that's going too far." Like,
it's chicken flu.
Yeah, because the odds of them not doing this again are 0.
Have you seen the wild shit going on in Australia?
That's a good topic. Yes, I have. Australia right now is kind of infamous for being one of the more like among the more hardcore lockdown, boot on your neck things that are going on right now. Australia right now is getting a lot of attention.
Despite having nothing to really show for it. It's not like they're saving record numbers of lives.
I don't know what the statistics are in Australia. I just kind of roll my ass because I'm like, guys, it's over. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but do you have any handy? Let's see what we can find here.
No, I don't have anything to. I didn't have anything saved to talk about. It's just, I know, like, you can get the videos of the police just like arresting people for not wearing masks in public.
Yeah, I saw one where a dude was like choking someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad over there. Yeah.
So we got it pretty okay here. Or at least, half the states are willing to resist.
Yeah, that's another thing that people are talking about on Twitter, how right now in Europe, there's just these massive lockdown protests going on. And, come on, America, why isn't America having protests? And it's like, well, I think lockdowns were just a joke here, mostly, compared to like how the rest of the world did it.
Well, it depended on what state you were in.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it depends on what state, but yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess in New York, apparently word is like some restaurants are requiring vaccination status just to go in a damn restaurant. I guess in America, people didn't protest as much as they were just like, see ya. Like, they just went to another state.
Right. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I went on a vacation in the middle of COVID, and the key was just don't tell anyone.
Yeah. I bet traffic was great. Parking was probably awesome.
Flights were cheap. And we went to Colorado Springs. Didn't have to wear a mask anywhere because you're out in the fucking woods.
Yeah. And if you leave big city America, you'd be surprised how quickly people stop caring when you just go 10 feet out of the...
You fly into Denver, and I was flying into Denver from like from Texas. And it was like a culture shock because suddenly it was like I walk into a Denny's and they're like, stand 6 feet apart, make sure you got 3 masks on, all that bullshit. But as soon as you drove out of the city limits of Denver, it was just like being in Texas again. Nobody wore masks, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, it's just city people.
If you live in a blue hellhole, then you have to deal with this crap.
Yeah, this is a city obsession. The Supreme Court justices, masks, lockdowns, Stormy Daniels, did all that shit. Like all of the stress and the worry over like American politics is just like a city, it's just psychosis, like mass, like hypnotic kind of spell that the city people are in.
Yeah. You'll be much happier just tuning out.
I bet you you're not going to get like a mob of black people probably come up to you in like a restaurant out in the middle of nowhere and talk how you're in the multicultural section of the restaurant. You need to
no, definitely not. Imagine being at a barbecue joint and
right.
that happening.
It's like, what? Yeah.
Did you hear
flyover states? Yeah.
Did you hear about the Federal Reserve officials stepping down after it came out they were investing in equities before dumping rates and liquidity into the market?
No.
So it's like you control the levers of making the stock market go up, and you make a whole bunch of trades on that, and then you pull the Fed lever to inject money into the market. Here we go. 2 top Fed officials stepped down over backlash over trades. They were using their positions of power to make trades to their benefit using, being a Fed share. Like, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. Wow. This just happened?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, so yeah, that's basically Fed insider trading.
Yeah. So it was Federal Reserve Bank of Boston President Eric Rosengren.
Yeah.
And another one.
Dallas
Fed President. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah, share stuff. We can share articles now.
I keep forgetting that. It's a whole new world. Yeah. So you have Dallas Fed President Rob Copeland saying he's going to depart on October 8th, and then Boston Fed President Eric Rosengren both said they're going to retire. Well, I mean, Eric said because of health reasons, and then Rob was like, yeah, it's because of the trades. Like, it's both because of the trades. They were benefiting from their positions. This is also interesting because the Wall Street Journal, let me share another article here, did an expose on 131 federal judges who broke the law by hearing cases where they had financial interests. Now, nothing's happening to them because, they're all just like, oopsies.
Yeah, they're supposed to recuse themselves, I guess, and they didn't.
Yeah, and they're all citing like, well, the system had to have an exact match. So when they were looking for shares that I owned, it only saw that I owned ExxonMobil shares, not ExxonMobil oil. So it didn't flag in the system. It was like, it was missing one word of the company, and that's why it didn't go through. My favorite quote in this, you committed a crime as a federal judge. And he says, I dropped the ball. Thank you for helping me stay on my toes the way I'm supposed to. Sorry.
And that's it?
I promise not to do it anymore.
That's it? Like, were they kicked off the...
No.
That's it? That's all they had to do? I'm sorry.
Essentially, nothing has come with this. So this dropped like yesterday, I'm pretty sure. No, today, September 28th. So if there's going to be any investigations or consequences to be determined, but as of now, it's just the Wall Street Journal saying, look at all these fuckers, and them going, yeah, we're sorry.
Oops. Whoopsie.
Oopsies.
Yeah, dude, judges are the only people I know of, except for, I guess, like intelligence agencies, who are asked to rule on their own, like whether or not they should be recused from their own like case or something. Like I heard about, the first time I heard about that was in the Bill Cosby case, where they were asking the judge to recuse himself because his wife was involved in a bunch of like, women harassment and, sexual harassment kind of stuff. And it was basically on him to decide whether or not they had grounds for him recusing himself. He got to decide, and I guess think on it overnight. And
I think I can remain impartial in this.
And he basically said, like, Nope. I'm, and it's insulting for you to think that I can't be impartial on these matters. And it's like, oh wow, that's really convenient, dude. Being a judge would be the shit, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have been a judge.
You get to be the judge, jury, and executioner in those cases.
Wow. Maybe I should have been a judge.
I think this is an interesting segue because you've got Fed chairs resigning because they abuse their positions of powers. You've got federal judges not resigning, just saying, oops, sorry. And then you've got Nancy Pelosi.
I was hoping we would talk about this.
So Nancy Pelosi is probably the most egregious insider trader that I can think of in the entire Senate or Congress. Her husband, I think it's a hedge fund. He has his own hedge fund and gets to trade on, all the insider information you have as a legislator. If you know what bills are coming in, you know exactly what companies to invest in or short.
Which is legal, right? Aren't members of Congress allowed to insider trade?
Yeah, they're exempt. The SEC is not going to touch them.
Well, but is there a specific law exempting them?
No, so it's really like the rules around inside. Like to be an insider, you have to be like someone within the company or like directly related to someone in the company, and like there's tippy and tipper rules, but it doesn't really say anything about like congressmen.
Politicians. Yeah, and they're not going to write rules to punish themselves for insider trading.
So it's pretty blatant, but like what's really funny is NPR. I've just shared this article. If you could throw it up on the screen for me. TikTokers are just going into Nancy's financial disclosures. That's like their loophole. It's like, well, yeah, we're trading on this information, but we disclosed it. They're taking her financial disclosures and they're just mimicking them. They're like, oh, Nancy did this. So you should buy it too.
How did they find out what she did? From the disclosure?
Yeah, from the disclosures.
Wow.
So like, Trump had to put out like disclosures on all his financial trades. And that's why everyone was freaking out because he had like $5 invested through some like third party mutual fund in the hydroxychloroquine or whatever that drug was, that whatever company that was, all of them put out disclosures about their investments. And everyone's like, Nancy's crushing it. Let's just follow her.
Do exactly what she does. Why aren't we doing this right now?
I don't know. It takes more. I got a day job. I can't be a day trader and do my job.
Yeah, that's true. I sent that article to my mutual fund guy. Was like, are you guys seeing this?
Oh, you sent this?
Yeah. I was like,
that's hilarious.
Are you guys paying attention to this?
Can you put me on the Pelosi index?
Yeah, basically invest in a lot of missiles and stuff, and
no, a lot of it's like tech stuff. So like
Apple and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like you could you're doing some bill, knowing that's going to benefit a particular bank, credit card company, tech stock, whatever. Or if it's going to hurt them, you know exactly who to buy and who to short because their stock is going to pop after the bill comes out or gets approved, or after whoever gets subpoenaed to go to some hearing. This is how you get millionaires on people who make salaries of like $100,000 a year. They're all, or I won't say all, but most of them are abusing their position of power.
Yeah.
But if you're a simple Joe like me and you make some illicit trades, you get to go to jail.
You get to silly peasant rules are for poor people. Yeah, so I guess we'll know when marijuana is about to become legal because we'll just randomly see a bunch of congressmen investing in like pot companies, right?
Yeah, Pelosi invests in 3 California weed stocks,
and then we'll go, yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. The money will let you know before the votes do.
Yeah. So I wonder how many of them invested in Pfizer and Moderna lately.
Oh, you're crushing it. I bet they all did. Yeah. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Like you've got insider information, who the FDA is reviewing, who's doing the best, how the trials are coming. And you're like, oh yeah, all my money on Pfizer. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If they're, that would, That would be something that would, and this is exactly the type of thing the media, if they were worth their salt, if they were actually a news company, that would be a pretty good thing to report on.
Well, you get more cases, you get more articles like that Wall Street Journal on the 131 federal judges, right?
Yeah,
that's real journalism. Someone had to sit down and go through all the federal judges' financial disclosures and be like, why did you serve on this case at ExxonMobil when you own $50,000 worth of their stock?
Yeah. So I guess NPR kind of found like a loophole. Instead of talking directly about look at what Pelosi's doing, it's saying look at what people are doing because of what Pelosi's
doing.
What
people are doing on TikTok.
Yeah, that because this is NPR, man. I mean, they'd be the type you think would stay away from a subject like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but at the same time, I kind of want to.
Let's see if
open my own Pelosi index.
Yeah, let's see if Biden invested in crack and hookers recently.
No, he gets his money under the table of foreign countries.
Yeah, he's
10
the guy
for the big guy.
Yeah, we know how Joe Biden makes his money. It's consulting fees
through his son.
Yeah, consulting fees with China,
which is now confirmed, and nobody cares.
No, the media did a magic disappearing act. Before, yeah, that's what made the Hunter Biden story, the laptop story, amazing, because it was because what they had been doing up to that point is dismissing and trying to immediately provide counter fire for everything Trump had been doing up to that point. Where any story that would come out about Trump, they would take the opposite stance immediately, no matter what it was, and fire all their guns. This was the first time where their tactic was, we're just going to disappear this story. We're going to use our social media friends to make sure that they don't end up on the news feeds and that people just don't know about this. And it worked. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. Really, it was amazing.
Yeah, and there was a new one too that didn't even come from the laptop leak. Where Hunter was going to consult. God, I think it was I forgot what country it was. I got to find the article. But he was going to say, hey, I can work and get you access to Biden and the administration or whatever to help you lift your sanctions. I want so much million a month, and then I want a success fee of 2% or whatever it is if I manage to get these sanctions lifted. And it didn't materialize. The deal never was solidified, but the exchange was all on email and it was set up. And it's very blatant that he's using his dad's positions of power to make money deals, and then he's passing that on to his dad.
Yeah, is it legal? I mean, probably
unethical as fuck.
These are the things that the elites are allowed to do. That they have the resources to do shit like that. Yeah, funny. So let's Jay, let's see what else do we got? Do you have anything else? I've got these COVID stats, but I don't know. I've kind of talked COVID. I'm kind of tired of talking about COVID, to tell you the truth.
No, you can talk about it every week and get blue in the face.
Yeah, forget about it.
No, the market's melting up. Everyone's saying it's going to crash, and other people are saying stocks only go up. So it's a lot of anxiety in the market right now.
Yeah, the inflation right now is starting to rear its ugly head because we printed $2 trillion last year.
How do you think this debt ceiling vote's going to go this week?
Oh, okay. So I don't know anything about what you're talking about, so please don't say anything. I'm going to guess what you're talking about. So you're saying a debt ceiling vote is coming back. So I'm guessing that what they're talking about is the suspension of the debt ceiling is about to expire, and they're going to vote on whether or not they need to keep the ceiling suspended. Mm-hmm. And I predict, obviously, they will, because they do every single time. They're getting their media friends to help them create scare stories about this is what might happen if the debt ceiling is not extended. It might cause we'd have to mass fire all these people, and then we default, and it would be terrible. Our rating would go down, and wouldn't this be a catastrophe? How am I doing?
Pretty good, except you missed one important detail. They are tying the infrastructure bill to it. So they're saying, we need you to raise the debt ceiling because we need to pass our infrastructure bill through reconciliation. And the Republicans are drawing a hard line in the sand and saying, no, you guys need to figure it out on your own. So will the Republicans do it, or will they play chicken and swerve at the last minute and let the bill go through?
Huh. Why did they do that? I wonder. Just kill two birds with one stone. Like,
there's for the reconciliation vote, there's a time limit. They can't just like punt it forever. If they miss this reconciliation, it's like you waste a wild card in Uno. Like, you only get one every so often. I think they get a couple a year, and once like October, whatever comes by or whatever, they like got to wait for the next one.
What are you talking about? What's a reconciliation?
That's the budgetary vote. So it's a filibuster proof vote. As long as they keep it budget related, they can pass it on a simple majority. So they tried squeezing in a bunch of other like immigration laws and stuff through there, but the parliamentarian was like, no, you can only put budget related stuff in here. So that's why it's the infrastructure bill. They're trying to pass like $4 trillion worth of crap through this reconciliation. And the Republicans are like, we're only agreeing to like $1 trillion of this. So there's like two bills together. They decoupled. There's the Republican bipartisan bill, but the Democrats are like, no, we want the 3.5 trillion bill that goes with it as well.
Oh, 3.5 trillion. Oh, God.
Yeah. So you're talking like 4 or 5 plus trillion, because really, like once these programs get implemented, there's no cap on what some of them can spend. So some people are saying this could be as much as 10 trillion over the next decade.
Trillions, the new billion.
Yeah. But they've got the complicating factor of the debt ceiling is coming up as well. So they can't just pass the reconciliation vote unless they can also get the debt ceiling raised at the same time.
Okay.
And the Republicans aren't budging on the debt ceiling, so it could sink their whole infrastructure vote.
They will. There's not enough. I mean, without knowing anything about the topic, I mean, Republicans, like like we talked about,
the problem is they've got 2 or 3 Democrats who aren't in line, and then they've got progressives who are like, you need to pass it all or you get nothing. So there's a lot of infighting in the Democratic Party. It's very similar to the dynamic that Trump had with McCain and Romney, where he couldn't get some of his key plans through because he had 1 or 2 defectors.
Okay. So you think that it's possible this bill fails and the debt ceiling actually comes back?
No, I think they fail to raise the debt ceiling. We go into government shutdown and they bicker for a month until someone caves.
It would cause a shutdown.
Yeah. And they've got till like mid-October until the government officially runs out of money and defaults.
Okay, well, I love government shutdowns, so
it reminds everyone that the government's really not that essential.
Yeah, no, I don't love the government shutdowns because it actually changes anything. I love them because it doesn't change anything. Like that's because everybody because the truth is they're not shutting down shit.
Yeah.
They're not shutting down shit. The police are still operating, the military still, they exempt so much. But basically what happens is the members of Congress go home and then they'll shut down like amusement parks and stuff like that as like political maneuvering to try to make their like opponents feel the sting of the shutdown, but I'm pretty sure everything else keeps operating. So what is interesting is one of the loopholes they're thinking about to avoid this debt ceiling issue, the Democrats are, there's a weird loophole in the Federal Reserve. I'm going to share this article where they're allowed to mint special coins if they feel like it's necessary. So the idea is they would mint, I think it's a platinum coin that'd be worth $1 trillion that they'd immediately deposit into the Federal Reserve, and they'd have another $1 trillion in their arsenal to keep the government going without raising the debt ceiling. Why would they even need to do that? Oh, they would create the coin and say like, we're no longer in debt because this coin represents $1 trillion.
Now we have $1 trillion, so we don't have to raise the debt ceiling anymore because we printed this coin
and we're giving it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? But okay, so where's the source of the debt?
The Federal Reserve.
Yeah,
it's literally just money printing. but you're instead of printing $1 trillion, you print one coin that's worth $1 trillion.
Okay. And so then that magically makes the debt go away.
Yeah, the issue is the government, if they don't raise the debt ceiling
Yeah.
and print more money, they're out of cash come mid-October. And then they actually have to default on their loans, on their treasury bonds.
Yeah.
If they do that, that's where the financial apocalypse happens.
Yeah, but isn't the Federal Reserve the thing that they're owing all that money to?
Yeah.
Which is also, and the Federal Reserve is also tied, like its life force is the American economy. So if the American economy goes down, then the Federal Reserve ceases to exist. So
not really. I mean, the dollar isn't the economy.
well, I mean, it kind of is right now. I mean, I know a lot of people are getting off of it, but the dollar is still right now is what makes the world go around.
Are you saying that if we hit this default, that it all evaporates? Because that's not.
No,
what
I'm
happens.
playing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm playing reducto ad absurdum. Like, let's pretend that, like because the theory is that we'll default on our loans, and that would be really bad because I guess why? Like, why would that even be bad? Because we'd be defaulting to the Federal Reserve, which is an institution that's allowed to create money. So who would really?
Because the Federal Reserve is considered to be the risk-free lender
Lender of money, yeah.
Yeah. So they're always going to pay their debts no matter what. And if for the first time ever they don't pay their interest on their treasury bonds, that's considered a default by the risk-free lender. So it's this kind of like doomsday idea of, oh, maybe this isn't risk-free.
I see.
What if the credit rating of the United States drops and our bonds are no longer worth what we say they are? Then you see the dollar start spiraling downward, and you see Zimbabwe type inflation.
Wait, so you're saying I want to make sure I understand this. So you're saying the Federal Reserve is who owes the money to the Treasury, or I thought it was vice versa, right?
No. They print Treasury notes, which are
Right.
IOUs.
Right.
I owe you X dollars and X years.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, we're going to pay you, 1% interest, or like 0.01% interest, or whatever the fucking rate is right now. And if they don't pay that interest, that's a default. So what happens when you don't pay your mortgage?
Well, eventually you get kicked out, right?
Yeah.
The bank
destroys
seizes the house, and
it destroys your credit rating. You're not allowed to. Nobody's going to borrow from you anymore or lend to you anymore. It makes you an untrustworthy creditor.
Okay, so the theory is that if the Treasury can't pay if the Treasury defaults on its loan to the Federal Reserve will stop giving money to the Treasury?
No. Other people stop buying our loans. So banks will stop buying them. Foreign countries will stop buying.
That's
them.
the big one. The foreign countries one won't buy it anymore.
Mm-hmm. If they don't think that they're going to get their interest on the U.S. Treasuries, then why would you buy them?
Okay.
It's an IOU that never gets paid.
Yeah. So basically, if they don't let this debt ceiling expire, then they can't keep paying the Federal Reserve.
Right.
And
so we don't raise taxes to pay the interest on our credit card. We just raise more debt to pay the interest on our credit card.
Right.
It's a never-ending debt spiral.
Yeah.
So if we don't raise our debt limit so we can print more debt to pay the interest on the debt we've already printed, then we have a default. And then
it's like the Terminator, dude. It's like the Terminator. It's just this big contradiction. It's like this big paradox.
Welcome to central banking.
Yeah. I'm really trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, because there's times when I think I understand it, and then there's times when I'm like, man, maybe I don't, because I don't see why defaulting would be such a terrible thing.
It matters because like the Federal Reserve is like the gold standard of fiat currencies. And if you stop being worth the money, if you stop being worth your what everyone believes your credit rating is.
Well, but the Treasury is the one that's paying the Federal Reserve the interest on its debt, right?
No. The Federal Reserve is printing the money to pay the interest on the loans. They're just an arm of the Treasury.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, the Federal Reserve buys the Treasury notes with the money that they print. Then they give
they issue them. There's an auction for these loans, and then anyone can buy them. The Federal Reserve can, yes, technically buy them and put them on the balance sheet. So they are buying loans from themselves essentially.
Mhm.
That's part of quantitative easing. They can just buy up all the loans in the market.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably boring the shit out of our
crazy
listeners.
stuff. Probably. I mean, it's what we need. We need to have a whole episode on this.
Yeah, and I can sit down and actually research it in advance. Try to think of the simplest way to explain it.
Now that I've sold my house, I hope I get enough time. We can actually start having like the episodes we're supposed to have, where we actually prepare something. You're
It's
actually
tough, man. We got day jobs, we got kids.
You're doing a better job than me actually preparing things. I just find a few good clips on libs of TikTok, and I just like, let's talk about this because that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
We need
I just wanted to share that they're trying to get around this debt ceiling by printing a coin.
Yeah, that is wacky, dude. That's just
a commemorative coin. It's like a Susan B. Anthony coin.
They create it. I wonder what the material. I wonder how much it's actually going to be worth. Like,
it's a platinum coin, but it's not going to be worth $1 trillion.
Well, if you think about it, dude, the weird thing is if they actually create it and they only create one, then it actually is just because it does have that kind of like everybody would want to get their hands on that thing, right? So
but like
they are creating value.
Could you take that $1 trillion coin to the bank if you stole it and deposited it?
I got it. I have $1 trillion. I'm gonna buy everything.
No, some feds are gonna just shoot you on the spot.
Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, at that point, the teller can actually pull a gun out and shoot you himself. He doesn't have to get.
That should be the theme of the next Fast and Furious movie: is they steal the platinum $1 trillion coin.
If we get that coin, we own the world. Yeah, we're automatically the richest people on Earth.
Who are you gonna sell it to, dummy?
Yeah. walk into Congress. I'd like to buy the United States, please. Yeah.
So, anyways, wacky week coming up because this debt showdown is going to be a shit show. Because I don't think the Republicans are going to swerve on the initial deadline. I think they're going to let us go into a lockdown, and that everyone's going to feel the pain for a few weeks before someone finally, swerves and loses the game of chicken.
When is this vote happening?
Good question. I think it's Friday.
Oh shit! I want to actually prepare an episode next time. Let's do it for real. What should we do the topic on? I kind of wanted to do that. Maybe we should. Oh, dude, I got it. You should do. You're the economy guy. You should do a segment on fractional reserve banking.
Okay, I'll try to make that one exciting.
We got some cool topics and stuff. I mean, yeah, actually, you probably got a good point. Nobody's gonna want to hear that shit.
So I'm a bank. You deposit me $1. I take that $1 and I loan it to your friend. And then he says, "Oh man, I got this $1, but I don't feel safe with it. I'm going to give it to you for safekeeping." And I say, "Oh, thank you for the $1. I'm going to loan it back out again."
Are you doing it right now? Wait,
yeah.
I didn't say do it now. I thought we were going to do it.
No, it's a super easy concept. So we're still talking about the same $1.
Oh,
I've lent it to two people. That the next person I lent it to gives it back to me, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you for the $1. I'm going to lend it out to another person now." And he's like, "Oh, thank you for lending me this $1. Can you please hold on to it?" I'm like, "Oh yes, thank you for the deposit. I'm going to lend that out to someone now." You're lending the same $1 out.
You just create money. It's a giant Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, infinite amount of times. And the only reason that it doesn't go to infinity is because we have a reserve cap. So pretty much the Federal Reserve says you need to have 10% of your deposits in cash.
Right.
So at some point you hit like an asymptotic. Yeah, thank you. You hit a limit on how many times you can lend the same $1 out. But yeah, that's the scheme.
Yeah,
that's fractional banking in a nutshell.
Well, if the debt ceiling vote was later, we could do like a what's really going on with the debt ceiling episode.
Yeah, no, it's coming up. I think it's let's see if I can get the date. It's fucking this article is paywalled. Let's see. It's the reconciliation vote. When is the reconciliation vote?
Oh shoot! Hey, I forgot to mention. Daniel Perry got charged.
Remind me who that is.
He's the Austin guy that I said that I knew.
Oh,
got charged.
the guy who shot the Uber driver who shot the Antifa guy.
Yep. Yeah, he got charged. So
took him long enough.
Yeah, it took him. Well, yeah, it took him a year, I think. Rittenhouse trial, September, October. Okay, we need to do our Rittenhouse episode.
Well, I mean, the trial's coming up. We can
It's
just
in
wait.
November. Well, yeah, it's in November, so we got to do it in October. We got to do it next month, because we need to do it before that stuff all starts to happen. So we give
just like a recap of where things are at right now.
Yeah, let's what I want to do is we do an episode where we cover exactly what's going to be going on, what happened, and that way covering a trial as it goes on is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, now we're just shooting the shit. Where are we going with this?
Okay, October 1st is the new fiscal year. Okay, so that's the deadline, October 1st. They have to have it done because the fiscal year is October 1st. So literally they have till Thursday to get this shit figured out.
Oh, Thursday. Okay.
So if they don't raise the debt ceiling, then October is going to be them scrambling to raise the debt ceiling because they're going to run out of money.
I gotcha. Cool. All right. What else you got, man?
That's it.
That's 1:30. We should probably wrap. We just didn't really catch on this time. We were just kind of going random. We need to actually get a topic next time.
Well, I mean, you've been moving. I've been working.
Yeah. We're just keeping it alive. Good things are coming though. All right, man. Well, I guess I will talk at you later.
Later.
All right. Adios.